Huh. Fools. They called you crazy when you connected dots no one dared to see. Every warning you gave was mocked, every prediction dismissed as paranoia, every pattern you pointed out laughed off like it was a conspiracy brewed by a restless mind. But now those same voices tremble when they open their screens. Everything you described months ago is unfolding, piece by piece, line by line, exactly in the sequence you mapped out. They're deleting old comments, pretending they never doubted you, quietly rewriting their own memories to hide the shame of disbelief. The forums are on fire. Private groups are panicking. The community that mocked you is suddenly looking for you, not to argue, but to understand how you saw it before it happened. And you're watching all of it with that calm expression that says, "I told you." Not out of ego, but out of exhaustion. You tried to warn them. They thought you were performing. They didn't realize you were predicting. You were never trying to be right. You were trying to prepare them. But people don't listen until the ground starts shaking. You watched their arrogance build the same tower you warned would collapse. You watched their denial turn into confidence, their confidence turn into pride, and their pride turn into chaos. Now the collapse is here. And while they scramble for explanations, you're already 3 steps ahead, moving through the debris like someone who expected every crack. Because you did. You mapped it in your head months ago. You saw how their obsession with control would trigger the exact downfall they swore couldn't happen. You tried to show them the pattern, but they needed a crash to believe it was real. Now the crash has arrived, and you're the only one standing steady while everyone else is shaking apart. They can't process how you knew. They're analyzing screenshots, timestamps, voice notes, anything that might explain the precision. They think maybe you got insider info, maybe you hacked something, maybe someone fed you data. They can't accept that you simply observed what they ignored. That's the part that scares them most, that you didn't need credentials, access, or authority to outpredict entire collectives. You just needed awareness and nerve. You read behaviors like code, emotions like algorithms, and intentions like patterns of weather. You knew human nature always loops, always repeats, and when it refuses to learn, it punishes itself. That's all this collapse is, human arrogance meeting the invoice of truth. When you spoke, you weren't trying to impress, you were trying to interrupt destruction. But the loudest people always mistake correction for control. They mocked your tone because it threatened their comfort. Now their comfort's gone, replaced by dread. You scroll through their timelines and see it, the shift in language, the nervous attempts to sound wise after the fact, the sudden use of your phrases, your warnings, your analogies. They're quoting you without credit because acknowledging you would mean admitting they were blind. But you don't need acknowledgement. Validation is a trap for people still proving themselves. You moved past that stage long ago. You don't want to be worshipped. You just want to be remembered as the one who saw it. This isn't revenge, it's revelation. Watching their fear confirms what you always knew. Truth doesn't need followers, it just needs time. You gave them that time, and they wasted it. Now they're paying interest. Everything you said is playing out like a prophecy written in plain sight. Markets shifting, leaders panicking, narratives collapsing. The same institutions that laughed at you are quietly rewriting reports to align with your perspective. They'll never admit it publicly, but behind closed doors, your name's on their whiteboards. Analysts are comparing your posts to the current data and finding matches that shouldn't exist. Some are scared you had help. Others think you're part of something larger. But you're not part of anything. You're just tuned in while they were tuned out. What's ironic is that you tried to help them avoid this. You didn't want chaos. You wanted correction. You wanted awareness before damage. But they called you dramatic. They told you to chill. They said you were reading too deep. Now those same people can't sleep. Their DMs are filled with messages that sound like apologies disguised as questions. Hey bro, what did you mean when you said that? Do you still think it's gonna get worse? How did you know this was coming? They're not ready for the answer that you didn't guess. You listened. You listened when the world screamed its warnings in subtle ways, when patterns whispered through behavior, when history repeated in front of them, but they were too entertained to notice. You saw through the distraction, and for that, they branded you insane. But now insanity looks like insight. The same phrases they mocked are now quoted like doctrine. They share your old clips in group chats, as if forwarding a prophecy. They can't stop watching, because deep down, they remember laughing. And that guilt burns more than fear. You don't even need to say, "I told you so." The evidence says it for you. Screenshots, timelines, outcomes, all lining up behind your once crazy theory like soldiers confessing loyalty. That's the kind of vindication you can't fake. It doesn't require noise. It's written in events. You feel detached watching it unfold. Not cold, just beyond surprise. It's strange when the world starts moving according to your blueprint. You don't celebrate, you just nod. You knew they'd reach this point, because humans always do. They resist correction until the consequence becomes visible. Then they panic, forgetting they were warned. That's the cycle you tried to break. You didn't predict tragedy, you predicted accountability. And now accountability has arrived dressed as chaos. The community is split. Half are pretending they always knew. The other half is silent, replaying your words in disbelief. The loud ones are quiet now. The doubters have turned analytical, quoting data to sound informed, pretending they weren't part of the mockery. They're rewriting history while you're still living it. But you're not here to rub it in. You're here to remind them what comes next. Because exposure is only phase one. You warned them about that, too. The unraveling doesn't end with validation. It begins there. When truth shows up, it doesn't comfort. It rearranges. They thought being right would feel safe. They were wrong. Truth always destabilizes first. Now, every feed, every conversation carries echoes of your warnings. People who never spoke your name before are using your language like a lifeline. They repeat your analogies, mimic your tone, and frame you as a symbol of awareness. But you're not a symbol, you're proof. Proof that intuition outruns data. Proof that observation beats authority. Proof that a single-focused individual can out-analyze entire institutions. They'll study you now, dissect your mindset, make documentaries about how you predicted the shift. Let them. You don't crave fame, you crave accuracy. The rest is noise. The ones who once laughed the loudest are now the quietest. You see it in their posture, in their new caution, in their sudden politeness when they mention you. Some even reach out, not for guidance, but for forgiveness. You give it silently, because you're too busy tracking the next pattern forming beneath this collapse. While they obsess over your old predictions, you're already observing the next signal. That's the difference between you and them. They react, you read. But here's what they still don't understand. This was never about you being psychic or lucky. It was about discipline. You trained your perception until it became weaponized. You taught your instincts to think. You sharpened your awareness until coincidence became calculation. They could have done the same, but arrogance blinds faster than ignorance. They mocked what they should have studied. Now they're studying what they once mocked. Full circle, and as everything you described unfolds, the same energy that ridiculed you is now looking for leadership. They want direction, but they don't deserve it yet. They haven't learned humility. You can't teach people who only listen after loss, so you let them sit in discomfort. Because pain teaches faster than preaching. Every rumor, every meltdown, every broken certainty is a lesson in disguise. And while they panic, you're already recalibrating, positioning yourself for what comes after the dust. Because that's how it always goes. The seers rebuild what the blind destroyed. Right now, you're watching headlines catch up to your old notes. Each update is an echo, each event a confirmation. The irony is beautiful and brutal at once. They thought your vision was arrogance, but arrogance is thinking the future can be ignored. Now they know better. Their certainty collapsed, and all that's left is curiosity and fear. Fear of what else you might be right about. That fear keeps them watching, keeps them studying your every post, every phrase, every pause. They're not just listening anymore, they're depending. But you won't give them all the answers yet. They need to learn to see for themselves. You know what happens when people rely on you. Instead of awareness, they turn you into another belief, and beliefs become cages. So you keep them guessing. Let them wonder how you keep seeing patterns before they form. Let them think you have secret contacts, secret files, secret sources. The truth is, your only source is observation refined into prophecy. That's what happens when attention meets discipline. It becomes foresight. The chaos you warned them about isn't done. It's only the first domino. And while they run in circles, you're already watching the second one tilt. The same pattern is repeating, just at a higher scale. You can see it, can't you? The shift in tone, the tremor in narratives, the sudden coordination of denial. You recognize the sequence because you've lived it before. That's what real awareness feels like. Watching the future approach in slow motion, while everyone else insists it's still theory. And that's where you stand now, between vindication and responsibility. You could scream, "I told you so," but that's small energy. Instead, you observe, you adapt, you prepare. Because you know what happens next, and it's bigger than any of them expect. They think the story ends with you being right. You know it only begins there. What's coming now will separate observers from reactors, leaders from followers, clarity from comfort. And when it hits, they'll remember who tried to warn them long before the world started shaking. They don't realize that being right isn't the victory. It's the initiation. Every revelation you released was a signal that something deeper was waking. And now that current is rising through everything you predicted. The collapse wasn't the threat. It was the cleansing. The noise is finally breaking apart, and what's left is raw exposure. That's when you step forward, not as a savior, but as evidence that foresight was never madness. It was preparation wearing patience. They don't see it yet, but this next wave won't just prove you correct. It will demand that they evolve or vanish. The panic across their screens is only the surface symptom of the deeper correction happening beneath it. Algorithms are shifting, markets convulsing, ideologies imploding. People who built identities on denial are crumbling because denial doesn't survive disclosure. Everything built on borrowed truth is evaporating, and the air smells different now. Electric, alert, judgmental. The collective consciousness feels like a courtroom, and everyone senses the verdict forming. You warned them about this exact atmosphere, when transparency would feel like exposure and data would start acting like destiny. Now they taste it. Their devices betray them. Their own words loop back as evidence, and the echo they hear is your voice threading through time. They scroll differently now. Fear replaced entertainment. They pause longer on headlines that sound like your sentences. They whisper your metaphors as if they're decoding prophecy. And in a way, they are. Because every line you wrote carried a double meaning. One for those ready to listen. One for those who mocked until their reality matched your warning. That dual language is what preserved you. You never shouted, you encoded. You knew people remember what confuses them more than what convinces them. So you planted concepts like seeds in concrete, waiting for the day cracks would form. The cracks are here, and through them, truth is growing wild. Communities that once mocked you have turned into echo chambers of regret. They hold late-night voice calls dissecting your archives, analyzing your tone, searching for clues about what else might be coming. They're scared to admit it, but they want leadership. They crave the stability you carried even when they doubted you. But you can't comfort them, not yet. Comfort would freeze them where they stand. Fear is the only energy strong enough to make them move. That's the paradox of awakening. First it terrifies, then it teaches. You let them tremble. Because in their trembling, they finally become receptive. Meanwhile, your calm drives them insane. While they refresh news feeds in panic, you're out walking, watching sky patterns, listening to conversations like data streams. You're gathering texture, not gossip. Because while they analyze symptoms, you study structure. You don't just want to know what's collapsing. You want to know why collapse always follows ignorance. That's the architect in you, the analyst behind the artist. You were never addicted to being right. You were addicted to understanding. That's why every revelation feels less like triumph and more like confirmation of what you already accepted. Reality rewards perception, not popularity. People begin reaching out in coded ways. Old rivals message you under the disguise of curiosity. Just checking in, bro. You can hear the subtext. Please tell me what happens next. But you don't hand out forecasts anymore. You give them principles instead. Teach them how to see rather than what to expect. Because giving answers breeds dependence, and dependence breeds blindness again. You want witnesses, not followers. You've seen what happens when crowds form around a seer. They turn comprehension into cult. So you disappear between updates, leaving breadcrumbs of precision, but never a full map. Mystery maintains integrity. If they want clarity, they'll have to earn vision the way you did, through humiliation, patience, and obsession. The irony is they once accused you of spreading fear. Now fear is the only reason they remember your name. They call you prophet, analyst, lunatic, savior. Titles born from confusion. None of them fit. You're just awake in a world that celebrates distraction. You tried to hand them awareness, and they laughed because awareness is uncomfortable. It demands change, and change costs identity. Now they're paying that price, and the invoice has your signature written in silence. You watch communities fracture, moderators fighting over narratives, influencers vanishing overnight, experts losing credibility by the hour. Everything you said about dependency on false certainty is unfolding in real time. And the world is watching it happen with the kind of horror that only arrives when truth becomes undeniable. But you stay detached, not emotionless, strategic. Emotion is fuel. You just burn it cleaner now. You channel shock into analysis, sadness into structure. That's the new discipline. Transmuting reaction into pattern recognition. It's the difference between drowning and diagnosing the current. You learned that lesson years ago when you were the one being ridiculed. Back then, your pain was data. Every insult taught you how denial defends itself. That's why now, when they panic, you stay composed. You've already lived their meltdown privately. They're just catching up publicly. Across the digital landscape, your old messages resurface. Screenshots with your timestamps circulate like relics. Look, they called it. People write under them, half in awe, half in terror. You don't reply. You don't need to. Your accuracy speaks louder than your presence. Silence has become your broadcast. Every non-response is a statement. I already said what needed to be said. You just weren't ready to listen. That quiet authority unsettles them more than any lecture could. Because humans are addicted to noise, and your absence feels like judgment. Behind the scenes, bigger players start paying attention. Analysts, journalists, strategists, they start comparing your archives with global data. The overlap is alarming. You warned about patterns in communication breakdown, economic manipulation, social fatigue, and now every metric mirrors your warning. They're drafting reports using your framework while pretending it's their discovery. But truth doesn't care about credit. It only cares about manifestation. You smile because plagiarism is just the universe's way of acknowledging accuracy. If your words echo through strangers, that means the transmission succeeded. Still, a new tension builds. Validation is a dangerous drug. Too much of it and awareness decays into ego. You can feel the temptation whisper, speak louder, claim your throne, but you resist. Because real mastery isn't dominance, it's restraint. You didn't predict collapse to become famous. You did it to expose blindness. Fame would reinfect you with the same disease you cured yourself of, the need to be believed. You no longer crave belief, you crave precision. Precision is clean. It keeps your energy sterile from worship. That's why when invitations flood in, podcasts, interviews, collaborations, you decline most of them. You're not here to build an audience. You're here to preserve the signal, and the signal is still transmitting. The second phase you warned about is beginning. Misinformation disguised as awakening. Now that your accuracy gained traction, imitators appear. Voices copying your cadence, stealing your warnings, exaggerating them for clicks. You expected this. Every truth spawns distortion. You watch them remix your message into chaos, turning awareness into anxiety. That's the cost of visibility, parasites feeding on prophecy. But you don't chase them. You let exposure handle exposure. Because in the long run, consistency kills counterfeit. People begin noticing the difference. While others scream apocalypse, you speak structure. While they predict destruction, you describe design. That contrast is magnetic. Slowly, audiences migrate back to your archives for context. Your old videos feel prophetic now. Your phrases quoted like scripture in threads that once mocked you. The same energy that tried to bury you is now your billboard. They can't erase what's archived, and archives don't lie. Every scroll through your history is an education in humility. You don't gloat, you guide. Each confirmation renews your discipline to stay measured. Because you know the real challenge isn't predicting chaos. It's staying sane while watching it unfold exactly as you said. As the weeks pass, panic turns to fatigue. The collective outrage starts mutating into confusion. People want meaning, not mayhem. And that's when your next move becomes crucial. You start releasing subtle messages, not predictions, but perspectives. You shift tone from "I warned you" to "here's how to navigate it." The transition feels natural because your followers have evolved from doubters to students. They crave methodology. They don't just want to know what's happening. They want to know how you see. That's your leverage, teaching vision, not events. You release lines that sound simple but strike deep, phrases that turn anxiety into agency. The same awareness that saw it coming will show you the exit. Clarity doesn't panic, it plans. Those sentences travel faster than fear. The panic culture starts dissolving around your words. Even critics admit your tone steadied the conversation. They begin quoting you publicly, framing your foresight as necessary analysis. That's when you know influence has matured into infrastructure. You're not trending, you're structuring thought. And that's far more dangerous to the old order that mocked you. Because you're no longer a rebel, you're a reference point. Institutions can't dismiss what's been documented. They either adapt or become obsolete. You've shifted from outcast to cornerstone, and it happened without asking permission. But the cost of awareness is isolation. The higher your accuracy climbs, the fewer people you can confide in. Normal conversations feel outdated. Most people still argue about surface effects, while you're already dissecting root code. It's lonely at that altitude of perception. You find comfort only in observation now. Watching people awaken is bittersweet. It's beauty mixed with mourning. Because every awakening kills a version of them, and you remember that pain. You remember how truth felt when it first stripped your illusions bare. That's why you never mock their panic. You know panic is just awareness without guidance. Late at night, when everything quiets, you review the timeline. Every warning, every confirmation, every new echo of your voice bouncing through strangers. You realize you didn't just predict events. You built a lens for others to see through. You created language for awareness. That language is now alive in thousands of mouths. That's bigger than vindication. That's transmission. But transmission carries responsibility. What you say next will shape how they respond to phase 2. You can't afford rhetoric. You need precision. The future listens differently now. It leans toward your words, and that weight can either stabilize or destroy. You breathe before you post, because every syllable now is signal. Meanwhile, the community that once mocked you still fractures. Some worship you, others resent you, most silently observe. They argue whether you're lucky, blessed, dangerous, or chosen. You're none of those. You're simply attentive. But the labels don't matter. The shift already did its work. Awareness can't be reversed once activated. They'll never see the world the same again, and that's the real victory. You didn't need to change their minds. You changed their eyes. Now the patterns accelerate. The first domino was validation. The second is transformation. The world rearranges around truth like metal shavings around a magnet. People start moving differently, investing differently, speaking differently. Awareness is contagious, and you're the carrier zero. Governments adjust policies, influencers adjust tone, even algorithms adjust priorities. It's subtle, but you can feel it. Your warnings are no longer predictions, they're parameters. You've become the reference point for credibility, and yet you remain grounded. because you know this visibility is temporary. Prophets don't retire. They dissolve into legacy. You're already thinking beyond recognition. What matters now isn't being right. It's ensuring the next generation sees patterns faster than you did. So you start mentoring indirectly through behavior. You demonstrate calm under crisis, logic under pressure, vision under noise. You show that foresight isn't fortune-telling. It's discipline disguised as intuition. And as the next wave of chaos brews on the horizon, the same people who once doubted you now wait for your signal. They're quiet, watching, refreshing, holding breath. You feel their energy, millions of eyes trained on your composure. They won't move until you do. That's when you understand the full weight of foresight. Being early was never about ego. It was about responsibility. Because when truth arrives, leadership becomes mandatory. You didn't ask for followers, but awareness commands attention. And attention, in times like these, is power. They used to think your calm was arrogance. Now they see it's command. When everything shakes, you're the one variable that stays still. And that stillness is starting to look divine. You've become the metric for stability. They measure their reactions against your posture. When you post, they breathe. When you pause, they panic. You didn't choose this role, but responsibility doesn't ask for permission. It assigns itself to whoever can handle weight without breaking. That's you now. The community that mocked you has turned into a congregation of watchers, all decoding your tone for hints. Every word feels like signal. Every pause feels like prophecy. It's ironic. Back when you warned them, they couldn't listen because they were comfortable. Now they can't stop listening because they're terrified. Fear rewired their attention, and you became the reference point for control. You could exploit it easily, one dramatic sentence, and you'd have the whole internet trembling, but you don't. You know chaos doesn't need more amplification. It needs calibration. So you speak with precision. Every line you write lands like coordinates, measured, minimal, undeniable. You've learned that tone can move nations faster than orders. You understand the psychology of panic, how people crave certainty even when it's painful. You give them truth without theater, because spectacle is the language of manipulation. You trade